So I originally found the story, I stumbled upon it online. The BBC published a series of photographs by a young Israeli photographer called Asher Svidinsky. And I saw them, I was lucky enough to see them the day that they came out. I was just immediately struck by them, by how beautiful they were, and the landscapes of the Altai Mountains, the size of Ashopan's. It was her father's bird that she was training with at the time, and then of course by her face and by how happy she looked. So I contacted Asher, the photographer, through Facebook, and we had a Skype. Very quickly, we were on a plane to Mongolia to meet the family. No, I didn't know much about Mongolia or eagle hunting before heading out there to meet Ashurpan. I had seen a segment on Human Planet a few years ago, which had some eagle hunters in, but it wasn't something that I was familiar with, no. Initially, I was just inspired by the photograph and kind of the exoticism of the Altai Mountains. I mean, it's the most remote part of the least populated country in the world. And this was my first film, and I knew I was game for an adventure. I'd been making short form, documentary style, commercial stuff for a long time. And I was really up for a challenge. So I was inspired by just the basics of what I saw in the photograph, if you like. But once I got there and met the family and spoke to some of the elders who were against the idea of Ashurpan stepping into what has traditionally been their domain, I started to feel much more of a sense of responsibility to tell the story and to make a film out of it, which is why I put all my money into it. And I certainly want audiences to feel, especially young girls and boys, I want them to be inspired to remember, even when it all feels very difficult, when it feels impossible, that you can keep going, that you can accomplish your dreams, your goals. As long as you're determined, so long as you stick at it, you can make it happen. And I think that's true for my film as much as it is for the journey that Ashurpan went on to become one of the first women in history. Yeah, no, certainly. Ashurpan and her family and I, we're intertwined forever. We're going to be, together in one sense or another for the rest of our lives. And I've been really excited to see everything that she's accomplished. Even during when the film was happening, she got a full scholarship to a local school, one of the best schools in Mongolia. It happens to be in her neighborhood, one of the top 3 schools, and she's been doing so well there. She's learned Turkish. Her English is really coming on, and she's determined to go on and become a doctor. But as for the more conservative elements in her community, I think there has been a lot more acceptance of her. I know that she's been out hunting with her father and some of her father's friends, and word has sort of spread very quickly through the community that she is accomplished, that she is a full eagle hunter now, and I think there's a lot more acceptance of her in the community. And you're even starting to see some other younger girls showing interest in training to be a hunter as well, which is, it's a nice legacy. Yeah, the family, like many of the nomads in that region, are innately hospitable. They are a very welcoming community. I think it's intrinsically tied into the nomadic lifestyle. As I say, it's the most remote part of the least populated country in the world. So when you do get a visitor, when a guest does wander past, you're immediately invited in, you're immediately welcomed. Tea is laid on, biscuits, cheeses, treats are laid out, and it's very much part of their mindset is to be welcoming to guests. The highlight for me was the fact that we got very lucky. We were able to follow her story from its kind of point of origin all the way through to her achieving full Eagle Hunter status. There was kind of a chronological chain of events that unfolded over the course of about a year, and we were lucky enough to catch it at the very beginning when she stole her baby eaglet from the nest, all the way through her training that eagle, proving that she had developed a bond with that eagle at the festival, and then going out to take the final step to full Eagle Hunter status, which was hunting in winter. So being there for each and every milestone was an incredible highlight of filming, because it's very rare you get that, I think, in documentaries. You know, oftentimes you have to fill in a blank, or you have to use archive to cover a spot that you might not have coverage for, and to be there at the beginning of a story like this was incredibly lucky and truly a highlight. And then the most challenging thing was, it was the weather and the conditions, and the fact that we didn't have any money. I mean, I made it with my life savings, and then we had to get a loan from the bank, so that was quite nerve-wracking. But the conditions made it, very tough. But then, you had Ashurpan and her father just pressing ahead, like it was just, another day. It was sort of water off a duck's back for them. So that kept us going a lot. If they weren't complaining and they were forging ahead, we sort of had to keep up with that. So that they helped. The sort of team that we built around the film, the sense of camaraderie, kept us going through those challenging times. Well, the film, after Mill Valley, the film opens in theaters here in the San Francisco area on the 11th of November, and it opens in New York and LA on the 2nd of November. So the family are coming back over from Mongolia for the premiere, and Daisy Ridley, who narrates some of the film, is coming in to be at the premiere as well. So we've got some exciting parties ahead of us, and look, touch wood, hopefully the film will do well at in the box office as well. And then ultimately, I really want the film to be shown in classrooms, not next year, but 20 years from now as well. I hope that young girls and boys are still getting inspired by what she accomplished, years from now. Well, I was lucky enough that Daisy saw an early screening of the film and was very moved by it. I spoke to her the night before the Sundance premiere, and it was clear that she had really understood the film, and she was sort of picking out all of these little details which I thought I only considered, and she was very moved by it. So it became a very natural decision. I'd wanted to add bits of narration at different points just to help, especially with a younger audience. There's a lot of subtitles to read, so just to help them orientate and help them through the film a little bit. So she added about 5 minutes of narration, and I think it really helps. It really adds a great ingredient to the film. Well, again, I was very lucky. I'd been making this film with my own money, and it had gotten very difficult indeed. I was totally out of money. I'd actually loaned money. So I put together the first 10 minutes of the film and sent that to Morgan Spurlock. And he saw it and called me right back and said, "Look, I'd love to help you. I haven't seen anything like this." And he really professionalized the operation. And it was him who found Sia through her manager, and she wrote and recorded that song for us very quickly. And what we did is we peppered it through the film. They gave us the stems, so we were able to put little hints of the song all the way through the film and sort of build a crescendo that really climaxes when we cut to black, and you see and you hear the lyrics for the first time, and it's an incredibly powerful anthem. I mean,